might have come across such advertisements on various social media platforms. Please note, all of these are fraudsters promising unbelievable returns through stock tips. I don't provide any calls or advisory services. I provide only educational content through my social media handles and through my website rachnaranade.com and rachnaranade.in. Hey folks, CA Rachna Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very special video. This video is special because I'm trying to do something that I've never ever done before. Today I'm going to celebrate the birth of Lord Krishna by trying to tell you how do I interpret Bhagavad Gita, but in the sense or in the field of investing. Bhagavad Gita has inspired millions of us and it tells us how to lead life. But today I'm going to try and use 3 4 examples or 3 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita and try to correlate it in the field of investing. A big disclaimer is that I'm not an expert in Bhagavad Gita. I'm a student and I'm trying to give you my own interpretations. If you differ in the interpretations, of course, like Lord Krishna says, I'm just here to tell you the knowledge. How to interpret it, how to use it in your own life is absolutely your choice. So, with this, let's get started. Well, before I start with the main part of this video, requesting everyone to subscribe to our channel because have a look at the subscribed to non-subscribed ratio. This is very, very less. So you come to our channel, you watch the videos, but you have not yet subscribed. Please do that. It's free of cost, but it definitely helps the content creators. Also requesting the females to have a look at the male to female ratio. Females, we have to understand that finance is equally important for men and women. So please take one more step towards empowering yourself financially by just subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि. Well, as per my interpretation of the shloka, which is there in chapter 2, verse 47, I feel that it is like you have a karma, and what is in your hand is to perform your karma, or you have to perform your duties. Your focus should be on performing duties. Your focus should not be on what will be the outcome of that, or will I be in a winning position or not, will I be in a losing position or not, will I gain from it, will I lose from it. That outcome may not be in my hand. My main focus, my karma, my duty is to focus on the process, on my duty. Now, how do I actually interpret this in the investing world? Is that assume that I want to trade, I want to invest in a specific stock. What is my karma as an investor? What is my responsibility? My responsibility is either I should do a fundamental analysis or a technical analysis or both, whatever is my thought process. So if I were to do a fundamental analysis, I should check the promoter background. I should check whether the profits are growing at a good pace or not, whether the turnover or the sales is going at a good pace or not, how much is the debt to equity ratio, how much is the P ratio, how much are the operating cash flows. So many things to be checked, right, in fundamental analysis. If I were to do a technical analysis, I should see the chart patterns, I should see the candlestick patterns, I should check the price action analysis, and then based on that, I should take a decision of whether I should buy or sell. But while doing all this analysis, if one thing constantly keeps on bothering me, ki will I be in a profit or will I be in a loss? Then I'm deviating from my main karma, my duty of analyzing. So basically, this shloka teaches us that what should we focus on? We should focus on analysis rather than focusing on the outcomes. Outcome may not be in your hands, but the analysis is definitely in your hands. In fact, Manu Bhakar quoted, just do what you're meant to do, just do what you're supposed to do, and whatever the destiny, you can't control the outcome of it. Matra sparshasthu kaunteya शीतोष्णा सुख दुःखदः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तान् स्थितिक्षस्व भारत. What I learned from this verse of Bhagavad Gita is that happiness, distress, all these are emotions that we do experience in our lives. But these emotions are not going to be permanent in nature. Like winter and summer, they come and they go. Similarly, be it happiness or distress, They are going to come and they are going to go. We should learn to tolerate all these emotions without being disturbed. Now, this interpretation, how do I apply this in the field of investing? Like, Bhagwan Shri Krishna had told us that all these emotions, happiness, distress, they are like summer and winter seasons, they come and go. Similarly, happiness, bullish cycles, and distress, bearish cycles, they are here to come and to go. Neither bullish cycles will remain permanent in nature, nor bearish cycles are going to remain permanent in nature. So, what we have to learn from this, all these market fluctuations, these are inevitable and they should not impact the peace of our mind. So, we have to learn to experience these ups and downs. We have to learn to tolerate these ups and downs and still maintain composure and not react emotionally to these market ups and downs. So what many people do is that whenever market crashes, in panic they're going to hit the distress button and they may sell off very good stocks that they had bought. And when markets are at all time high, the greed may kick in and they may still keep on buying them at higher and higher prices, even though they are maybe possibly at a very high valuations. And then, they may not be taking the decisions in a good rationale. So what is mentioned here is that you have to ensure that emotions don't dictate your long term decision making process. You have to stay calm and don't let market emotions impact your investing decisions. नाट्याश्रितस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन. I'll tell you my interpretation of this beautiful shlok. What Lord Krishna tells us is that if you eat too much or eat too little, if you sleep too much or sleep too little, you cannot attain success in yoga. Basically, I think that the interpretation is that everything should be in moderation. Anything of extreme excess or anything of which is very less, nothing. So extremes basically are not beneficial. Neither extreme is beneficial. Everything should be in moderation, is what my interpretation of this shloka is. Now, how do I interpret this moderation in the context of investing? What could be too much or too less? It could be something like a portfolio diversification. I've seen people having 100 stocks in their portfolio also. This is too much of diversification, over diversification. This may also not attain success in investing. And the other end will be too little. There are people who say, my portfolio is a one stock portfolio. This also may not lead to success, because what if something goes wrong with that specific stock, right? So whenever you're wanting to build a good portfolio, ideally it should be diversified in moderation, but neither extremes are good. Neither too little nor too much is good for your portfolio. I can also interpret this same shlok in one more context, which could be about frequency of trading. There are people who will say that I trade minimum 3 times, 5 times, 10 times in a day. Okay, this is too much. This is an extreme of trading. And there'll be one set of people who will say, I just place an order once in a year or once in 2 years. Why? Buy and forget strategy. Now, that is also too less. Ideally, if you were to ask me, I always say that at least read the quarterly results of the company. And based on that, if you feel that something is going wrong, company is not performing well for back to back 2, 3, 4 quarters, whatever, you may consider exiting the position and entering into some other stock, right? So, if you were to talk about frequency of trading, too less or too little, frequency of investing, very less, too much, nothing may lead to success in investing. Ideally, that too should be in moderation. इति ते ज्ञानमाख्यातं गुह्याद् मया विमृशैतदशेषेण यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु. This is one of the most favorite shlokas of mine, the one that I recited, because in this, Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells us, or Bhagwan Shri Krishna has told Arjuna that I have given you this knowledge which is more secret than all the secrets. Basically, he's telling Arjun that I have told you whatever you need to know to lead a life. But what he tells afterwards is like super important, because Lord Shri Krishna says is, I have told you what I wanted to tell you, but now it's your responsibility to deeply ponder over it, to think through it, and then do what you wish to do. I think this is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Shri Krishna is himself giving us so much liberty that he's telling us that I'm giving you this knowledge, but ultimately it is up to you to interpret it, to ponder over it, to think through it, and to apply it in your own wisdom, in the way you feel it is right. Now, this same shlok, I can definitely, you know, draw a parallel of this shlok in the field of investing. But how? What many people do is that they just blindly copy what other people are doing. Ideally, what needs to be done is get that knowledge and ponder over it and then take your own decisions. What could be an example? You, as viewers of YouTube, I'm sure you watch a lot of videos, you watch a lot of content from some finance creators, some from some finance educators. And ultimately, what some people do is, just because this person is saying, I'm going to buy this stock, just because that person is saying, I'm going to sell the stock. No, this is not to be done. Ideally, what Shri Krishna tells us is that you listen to the knowledge, but ultimately, what you should do, gain that knowledge, then ultimately you should think through it and then take your ultimate investing decision. You should ultimately take your own decision. So I hope you have understood the interpretation of this shlok in the investing sense as well. The fifth shlok of Bhagavad Gita is not what I am going to tell you, but you will find it in the comment section, based on what other people are writing in the comment section, because this is what I'm going to request you all. Try to read through at least one verse of Bhagavad Gita. You'll find a lot of interpretations on YouTube as well. And try to correlate that in the field of investing. If everyone tries to interpret at least one shlok, I'm sure the comment section of this video will in itself be a sea of knowledge. So, requesting everyone to do this as a small homework, to at least go through one shlok and interpret that in the field of investing. I hope you enjoyed this experience or this experiment of mine, wherein I tried to interpret few shlokas of Bhagavad Gita in the field of investing. I had given a disclaimer in the beginning of the video that I'm not an expert in this field, but this is an attempt from a student who is trying to understand Bhagavad Gita and just tried to, put forth my own interpretations in a very honest way. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please don't forget to smash the like button. If you loved this experiment, please share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind. Bye bye.